Okay, dear friends in Dhamma, we are going to start the first Dhamma discussion. So we have received a couple of written questions, maybe 2 questions, and we'll start with those written questions.
Avasarai Bante. Yes, we have received 4 reports, but reports are containing many Dhamma questions.
Okay.
Report number 1, Theruvan Saranai. Dear Bante, please advise. There are 16 steps included in Anapanasati Sutta, starting from length of a breath, sensitivity of the body, sensitive to rupture, etc. Does it advisable to a meditator to practice more than one step in a one session at a meditation practice, within brackets, assuming a lengthy session, with metta?
Let it evolve. Actually, rather than we say, okay, I am particularly confining myself only to a particular step, next step, third step. So likewise, you are sort of moving purposely from one step to another step. So that is not the point. Rather, let it naturally evolve. So you start as a beginner, just merely paying attention to the breath. So that's what the very first step. Actually, it is not included in the 16 steps. So the very first step is mere establishment of mindfulness. So sato asa sati, sato pasa sati. He mindfully breathes in, mindfully breathes out. So when breathing in happens, so he is mindful. When breathing out happens, he is mindful. That's it. So just establish mindfulness on the breathing. And as you are going on, now when you are confident, as we did in the morning, now you can actually try to recognize what are the subtle aspects in the breathing, whether it is longer, shorter compared to the previous in-breath, previous out-breath. So you are trying to recognize those aspects. And when further, as you are moving forward, probably you are able to recognize whether it is the beginning, the middle, the end. So likewise, you are closely investigating the breathing process. And while you are doing that, you are naturally will be evolved towards the second stage. That means the second quadrant. That means in the Vedananupasana section. It is not that we are trying to purposely get into Vedananupasana. Rather, while we are involving in the Kayanupasana, the first quadrant, then you are naturally evolved or shifted toward the Vedananupasana section. Then as you are moving forward, it has to evolve, and then you will be naturally forward towards the Chittanupasana section. It's a kind of a natural evolution rather than we are saying, okay, in a particular scheduled way or a particular chronological way that you have to maintain such a 16 steps. Rather than doing that, so let it happen naturally. Then it will be much easier and much better, and in a way it is even aesthetic for you to continue in that way, so that the meditation will naturally evolve, naturally grow. So that should be the approach that we have to take.
Report number 2, Most Venerable Bhante. During Anapana, when the breath becomes subtle, we were asked either to look at feelings or mind or just be by maintaining inner silence. Once the breath becomes subtle, and when you don't feel the breath at all, the mind also becomes silent. At this moment, do you purposely have to look at the mind, or does it happen automatically without me getting involved? Theruvan Saranai.
Actually here it depends. So basically, if you are a beginner and this is the first time that you are experiencing kind of a silence, and breath also has almost disappeared, you need to rest in a way, because now we are moving towards another stage of our concentration. You know, there are different stages of our concentration, and what we have at the beginning is we are paying attention to a particular object, that is the breath, and it is somewhat we are able to do that while among distractions. We again shifted to the past, but again now we are paying attention to breath. Again shifted to the future, again we are paying attention to breath. So likewise, it's a kind of a scattered way that we are trying at the beginning. So not enough samadhi, not enough concentration. Later, say you have less distractions and you are able to pay attention closely to the breathing. So it's almost like a good fair amount of concentration. Another stage is now breathing become evident. You are able to maintain your attention continuously for about, say, 10 breaths, 50 breaths, 100 breaths, like that. So very much like consistent samadhi, consistent concentration. Later, as you are moving forward, now breathing becomes subtler and subtler. Now, in this subtle breathing process, are you able to maintain your attention? That's another stage. Difficult, actually. Because being aware of a fairly gross, evident kind of a breathing process is easy. But almost like very refined breathing, you need to maintain attention. Now, it would be difficult. This is another stage. So, you need to be there. Basically, even with this subtle breathing, you need to be there. Now you may be coming to a stage where the whole breathing might even disappear. It is not that we are purposely making it. As you are carefully recognizing all these subtle aspects, the breathing can become completely calmed down, relaxed. So that is the fourth stage in the Kayanupassana part. Passambayang kaya sankharang asasissamiti sikkati. Say you are facilitating that process. You are allowing breathing to calm down and almost like no breathing. But the point is, are you able to maintain careful observation without getting distracted, without falling asleep, without shifting your attention to a different object? Are you able to maintain your attention at the same place, maybe at the nostril, but there is no breathing to be aware of? Breathing has almost disappeared. Now, if you are able to maintain this kind of a very clear awareness, refined attention, even when almost like breathing disappeared, without any distraction, without being, say, carried away by thoughts, without falling asleep, maintaining consistent concentration, then you have arrived what we call the Samadhi Indriya. Samadhi Indriya is the faculty of concentration where you are able to maintain very consistent, very careful attention even with a almost like no object. But this is not yet a thorough Vipassana in a way. So here through Samatha that you are able to arrive this stage. Almost like inner chatter has disappeared, calm down, your body has calmed down and say no thoughts almost, and attention is there. So likewise. Now further you need to investigate the process. Then you may be shifted towards the what we call the second quadrant, Piti Patisangvedi, Sukha Patisangvedi, Chitta Sankhara Patisangvedi, Passambayan Chitta Sankhara. So that means you are still observing the phenomena. There may be a situation after that, say all the even feelings and perceptions have calmed down, then naturally you have nothing else other than observing the mind. Chitta Patisangvedi. There may be subtle thoughts, maybe some feelings, perceptions. So that also you are slowly abandoning. So now mind become completely very much like transparent, almost nothing is there, no object. And mind has almost stopped, no shifting, no movements. And here we can say you are arriving that last stage, what we call the Vimochan Chitta. Mind has almost like liberated, we can say temporary liberated. Nothing, no phenomena. The five aggregates are almost like disappeared. You are not with any kind of physical sensation, not with any breathing, not with any feelings, not with any perceptions, no formations. But awareness is there. That's it. So here we can say you have arrived, going through all these different stages, you have arrived a fair amount of non-grasping state of mind. Here we have combined Samatha and Vipassana very much together. Certain Samatha aspects are also there and Vipassana aspects are also supporting you to maintain this state. Yep.
Report number 3. This has 3 parts. I'll read it separately. Dear Bhante, Part 1. Attachments always create unstable mind. When my son achieving awards, it gives me big pleasure, and sometimes I felt on that day I was talking too much about him. How to overcome this? How about Chittanupassana? That joyful thought will last only a small time and vanish soon.
Good, good. So you know, but you enjoy. You know it's a child's pleasure. So you as a mother, you as a father, you can enjoy, doesn't matter. But still you know it's very short-lived. It's a trivial thing that I am being happy with. We all have to do that. I mean, can't help. Say when you get a lift from one place to another place, yes, rather than waiting for a bus, you can be happy. Why not? But trivial thing, by the way. Say when you get good food, we can be happy. And if we get a praise, can be happy. But how about the other side? Say if your child get failed, or if you are waiting for a bus for a long, long time, so are you get agitated, or are you feeling agitated, feeling frustrated, cursing others, complaining and all that? Or are you able to maintain a kind of a moderate, fairly balanced state of mind? So that is where the maturity happens. So we can be happy, of course. I mean, rather than even saying, okay, I don't want to be happy and I am just trying to maintain equanimity even with my son's success, I feel no need, you can be happy. But during a failure, if we can avoid being unhappy, depressed, crying and all that, then that is, I feel, the most difficult part. Happiness, I feel, is less harmful than the worry. Because happiness is required. We need some happiness, we need some joy to travel in this path. So that's why, I mean, some fun-loving and enjoying, and that should be all right, I feel. But being unhappy, always complaining, finding fault, always worrying, that would be more harmful. So therefore, see whether you are able to maintain a balanced mind even when things go wrong. An important thing with the meditation, particularly when one reaches that anisita state, non-grasping state, is that rather than when things go wrong, you are expecting something happy, something joyful, or something wishing for some kind of a sensual pleasure, you have an alternative. What is the alternative? What's the alternative? So if you listen to me, you should be able to answer. Huh? I just gave you the answer. Huh? Yeah, I mean, you are able to maintain anisita state, so that's I just started the statement. In a stage where you are able to maintain anisita state, even that time, assume that something went wrong. Now, typically what happens, say you are going through some suffering and pain and all that, but your alternative is just merely expecting some sensual pleasure, just happiness, okay? When I get this free from all this, when I be having joy with others, when I am going to meet my friends, when am I going to enjoy my senses, this is the only option we have. But a person who have gone through Satipatthana practice and arrived that anisita state, where non-grasping state, he is able to maintain, here there is no thoughts and no much of, say, signs and all that in the mind, and very peaceful, very quiet, and no object at all. And you have recognized, okay, this is another alternative state in the mind. So why not keep there our attention, isn't it? Rather than expecting sensual desires, sensual happiness, enjoying and, going after that pleasure principle, how about establishing ourselves on this middle path? No attachment, no grasping, if possible even no object. So this is a very, say, fruitful result that we may be experiencing through our meditation. So how about keeping our attention there? So the yogi has another alternative than the typical person who is always looking forward for sensual pleasure. So you have to have a different option, okay? Rather than expecting that, how about maintaining my attention here, even when things go wrong? So that should be, I think, a very interesting answer that we as, say, practitioners have, which doesn't available for the others.
Second part, how to practice Indriya Sangvaraya, within brackets, control 6 senses.
So you need to control. So don't watch too much news. Don't go for political meetings. Don't look at Netflix. Don't too much use your handphone for Facebook, this book, that book, this book. And say don't attend too many parties. Don't watch unnecessary, say unsuitable type of movies. All are agitating your mind. So you look after watching something, you look at your mind. So what is the impact towards your mind after going through this? Suppose that you are watching a teledrama. After that, so what is the impact in your mind? Has it become peaceful, or are you thinking too much, or have you become agitated, or are you worried, too many fantasizing? Then we have, harmed the mind. Difficult, because we need some pleasure, understood. But how about some harmless pleasure, if possible? Maybe some music, but not much into, fantasizing and agitation and all that, but calming down type of thing. It's like shifting from pop music to classical music. So I don't like to say immediately you need to shut off everything, cut off everything. It would be also difficult. Because that the lay people, they have to enjoy sometimes, be with their friends, be with their children, etc. So you need to balance. But try your best to less harm to your meditation in a way. So after you go through any kind of a sensual activity, if it has given a significant impact towards your meditation, so you have to suffer. That's why we are minimizing, even in a retreat environment, that's why we are trying to minimize talking, chattering. Because if you involve with too much talking and gossiping and all that, so it has a significant impact on your meditation. Once you sit, all that will come to your mind. But I am not telling that this is essential for everyone. I mean, you need to test yourself also. I can remember when I was in Navayana, actually, there's a what we call middle mountain, Medakanda. So I was involved in that silent retreat, and only during the Uposatha day I am coming to the lower monastery to participate in the Uposatha. And there I meet everyone and talk and this. And after going back, when I am trying my best, it took long time for me to again settle. So kind of a beginner. So even a little chattering has a significant impact on my meditation. On those days, actually, I was practicing samatha. So I don't know how to handle things, and my mind has a lot of hindrances, and many things are there, very difficult. But nowadays I am talking, but somehow managing. Now I am trying to reduce talking, by the way, due to some physical impact to my throat. But somehow, that as we are going through the practice, so we become somewhat seasoned and somewhat able to endure things. And till it happens, we need to maintain fair amount of restraint. As you said, the sense restraint is a must. Till we are somewhat capable of handling all this. So therefore, Indriya Sangvara is a must in that sense. It doesn't mean now we can openly have fun and everything. That's not the point. But even while talking and even while engaged with other activities, still if you are able to calm down yourself very quickly, that means your practice has fairly integrated to you now, fairly internalized.
Third part, according to Buddhism, how to help others. Sometimes I feel I am thinking about my relatives' problems which disturb my mind when doing meditation.
Yeah, Jnati Vitakka. So you can refer, there's a beautiful discussion, a sutta called Pansu Dhovaka Sutta in Anguttara Nikaya. It is quite easy to, at the gross level, say we all understand, okay, certain bodily misdeeds are not good. Verbal misdeeds are not good. Mental sort of harsh misdeeds are not good. All understood. That is the stage what we call as the Oladika Upakkilesa. Some behavioral level as much as possible, so you are restraining yourself, not getting involved with harmful activities, so you become a good person. Good. Now we come to another level, what we call Majjhima Sahagata Upakkilesa, where you start recognizing yourself some Kama Vitakka, sensual desires. You recognize yourself within your mind some ill will, Vyapada Vitakka. And you recognize in your mind there are some harmful thoughts, Vihinsa Vitakka. And this is also somewhat obvious because we all can understand, okay, this is not a good thought, and this is some lustful thought, this is an angry thought, this is a resentment. So this is not difficult to understand. What we call the Majjhima Sahagata Upakkilesa. Assume that you are able to overcome that, understood that, you abandon that, and now you get Sukkuma Sahagata Upakkilesa. That is the most difficult part. So while sitting, you feel like, why not I am going to explain this to my son? Now just he has passed the exam, better we invite him also to the next retreat. How about organizing another retreat? Rather than I myself enjoying this, I better invite my friends also. Why not I organize another retreat? Better I go to Nissarana also. All are not bad things. But thoughts, thinking. And probably are trying to help others, planning to help others. And what we call as Pali term is there. I'll remember it quickly. So this helping others. And who are the others? Maybe your children, maybe your parents, maybe your relatives, maybe your friends. Many people are there to whom that you feel that you need to help. So these thoughts appear like correct. That's why the problem. So we may keep going in, rather than abandoning them, you start thinking about them. Because you feel like they are reasonable to think. And then further, probably you have a little headache or backache or neck ache, this and that. So while meditating, you get this little pain. And you are wondering, this might get worse if I continue like this. I better see the doctor after this session immediately. I better put an appointment. Don't know whether the doctor is available today, tomorrow, or today he can't be available. Today is the Good Friday. Most probably tomorrow he will be available. I better check the Doc 990 to put a channeling. So all that planning. So regarding our health, but while meditating, so you are in a sitting session, but you are planning how to put your channel to the doctor. So health-related vitakka, health-related thoughts, what we call amara vitakka. Amara vitakka. And then another very interesting part, particularly for monks. See, how about being a little popular by being a kammatthana-charya, being a teacher, by preaching and telling others all these beautiful experiences and writing a book maybe? That's also a good idea. Writing a book and, publishing them all about making a YouTube and starting a YouTube channel. Because I have a fair amount of experience now, probably I can put all my experience into YouTube and that will become very popular. I might even get some pocket money even when it is getting popular. Now this whoever the company is now giving some money even when it is getting more likes. Now you have planning what we call labha sankhara patisanyutta vitakka. So you want to be popular, you want to be happy, you want to be successful, you want to become a teacher, you want to become so and so. You want to gain something, you want to earn some fame. Labha sakkara. So those are another path which could happen. And there's a very, very subtle point, another point that Buddha highlights, anavanyati patisangyutta vitakka, what they call, how about, what would be others' perspective about me? Do they really have the proper attitude about me? Will they have the correct idea about me? Are they thinking wrong about me? Or do they really have proper understanding about me? So you want to verify how others will look at you, how others would perceive you, what is the perception about you in others' mind. So you are worried, a little concerned about it. Suppose that say you start little while meditating, you start rotating or making a little movement and something like that, and you might be worried whether others would notice it. They might complain, they might get disturbed, they might complain that you are not you are disturbing others and this and that. So you are worried about how others would think about you. Anavanyati patisangyutta vitakka. And now you want to correct them, you want to talk to them, you want to check whether they have the correct understanding about yourself. If not, you need to say, okay, no, I am a good person, don't think like that. So all that. So all appear like very correct, isn't it? Appear like very good, appear like reasonable. So we keep on thinking, and so that is where we might go wrong. The point is, when we are keep going on thinking like this, it may shift at one point to that majjhima sahagata upakkilesa. At one point you might get angry. At one point you might feel sort of jealousy or any kind of a unwholesome thought level. You might get shifted. You started very innocently, but at middle you may shifted to the unwholesome thought pattern. So therefore, thinking about your relatives, thinking about your children, parents, friends, etc. is not the business while you are meditating. Mind your own business.
Last report number 4. This again have 4 questions. Question number 1. What are the pillars of meditation?
Pillars? How many pillars you have? Pillars of meditation. I don't know what you mean. So we can say different things. We can put it in many different ways. We can say, okay, four foundations of mindfulness are the pillars of meditation. As Venerable Nyanaponika has highlighted, that is the heart of Buddhist practice. 4 foundations of mindfulness. Another one can argue, say, okay, 5 faculties. Saddha, Viriya, Sati, Samadhi, Panya. So these are the pillars of meditation. Another one can argue, okay, 7 enlightenment factors. Satta, Bojjhanga. So they are the pillars of meditation. Sati, Dhamma, Vicaya, Viriya, Piti, Passaddhi, Samadhi, Upekha. So they are the pillars of meditation. Another one can say, okay, Sila, Samadhi, Panya are the pillars of the whole practice. So likewise, many different ways that we can introduce this. So all are valid, by the way. We can't abandon any of these. Ultimately, we can, in a way, summarize the whole thing as 37 Bodhipakkhya Dhammas towards the Mahaparinibbana Sutta. Such kind of combination has happened, collection has happened. You start with 4 foundations of mindfulness, maybe then 4 correct efforts, Sammappadhana, then 4 Iddipada, spiritual powers, I think it's translated as, and then 5 faculties, 5 powers, spiritual powers, 7 enlightenment factors, and Noble Eightfold Path.
Okay. What are the levels of meditation?
Someone is doing a statistics course, maybe. Levels of meditation. I mean, here also actually many levels. Even at the samatha level, the samatha stream of meditation, there are many levels. So you may achieve, we just have discussed even at the samadhi indriya level. So that's a fairly advanced. But another categorization is with respect to the jhana. Say you are at the upachara samadhi, neighborhood concentration, then you are at the first jhana, second jhana, third jhana, fourth jhana, all are material jhana. Then you may get into the arupa jhana, immaterial jhana. So those are different levels with respect to samatha. But with vipassana, there are again many different levels where you are simply recognizing the, say if we talk with the elements, you are simply merely recognizing individual characteristics of elements. That's maybe one level. And you are recognizing their common, what we call transient characteristics. Upado panyayati, vayo panyayati, dita sanyatattam panyayati, sankata lakkana. So those are another level. Then you are getting to the common characteristics, anicca dukkha anatta, impermanence, suffering and non-self. That's another level. Then you are getting to another level where you have disenchantment, dispassion. That's another level. And then mind get ultimately, at least for some time, get freed without attaching to anything. That's another level. And that is not the end either. Probably then you can talk about the Maggapala and all that, can include as much as you like.
Part 3. Please explain how we can cope up with life challenges even if we do meditation. After the meditation session, our mind is calm and quiet. However, it will be disturbed when time passes. Please tell us the best way of carrying out meditation in complying with life challenges.
Well, it will happen naturally. So that's why, it is not that you have to have a special type of meditation that you are to, in order to go with the life challenges. Rather, when you are going through the practice, Satipatthana practice particularly, so all these become available to you. You can't plan in a way. So it's a matter of getting involved, it's a matter of continuous practice. As you are continuing your practice, slowly, you start recognizing within yourself what are the changes happening in your mind, what are the changes happening in your livelihood, and the way of you are maintaining, how your attitude has changed, how your character has changed, how your behavior has changed. All that should be available to you. Rather than say, I am telling it to you, say while you are dealing, while you are involving, while you are practicing in this for Satipatthana, slowly all these benefits what Buddha promised should be available to us. It's not that Buddha want to simply inspire us, but these benefits what he is predicting should be available, should be tangible. So therefore, continue as much as possible. Then as Buddha predicted, purification has to happen. Ekanoyam bhikkhave manko sattanam visuddhya. So your mind has to get purified. Less defilements. And mind has some peace in its peace or purity in it. Soka pariddavanam samatikkamaya. That means less sorrowing, less unhappiness, less crying, less depression and all that. The negativity has to reduce. Soka pariddavanam samatikkamaya. Dukkha domanassanam atthangamaya. And you, on the other hand, you should be able to bear the things. As a result of that, you are able to shift your attention, you need to uplift your mind, even amidst difficulties. And that means your mind is fairly becoming independent now, not much affected by the worldly matters. Soka pariddavanam samatikkamaya, dukkha domanassanam atthangamaya, nyayassa adhigamaya. Now you should feel a path. You should be confident about, okay, this is what I need to do. The path should be clear by your own practice. Not that you are simply believing someone, but the path has to be clear to you. You are confident. Okay, this is what I have to do. You become confident. And nibbanassa sachikiriyaya. And time to time at least, you are able to have a mind completely free from defilements, completely free from attachments, no any grasping, almost like stopped. Mind has stopped. Expecting some nirodha. That means if you are capable of experiencing these kind of things, tangible results, that means in the correct path.
Part 4. People live with expectations, goals and anxiety. How can the concepts of emptiness in Buddhism can be developed with these expectations?
Yeah, I think here actually how you define expectations. So that may evolve as you continue. when you are starting, you have different set of expectations. So I want to become the first, I want to become the president, I want to become a member of the parliament, I want to become this, I want to become that. So you have different set of expectations. As you continue the path, so your set of expectations become also changed, evolved. So your expectations, particularly related to sensual desires, sensual satisfaction, pleasure, all that, and the amount of satisfaction or amount of importance that you have given to your mentality, about your mind, all that may change. You might value a clarity of mind, you might value a peace of mind, I mean the peacefulness of mind, more than too much achievement in the sensual world. So your expectations may shift, your expectations may mature, your expectations may change as you are developing the practice. So then you have different set of expectations. So therefore it is not that we are trying to fulfill the same set of expectations even after becoming a successful meditator. Or we can say, I'll put it like this, say after one becomes an arahant, assume that he wants to go back to home and enjoy the family life and have children and buy several cars and buy lands and enjoy the maximum of sensual pleasure. Is it a valid expectation? Or he has become fully liberated? So his expectations previously was like that. Materialistically, I mean, I have to be successful. But as you are moving forward, so your set of expectations become refined, evolved, matured. So therefore, take it like that. Yeah, that's all we have, the questions. And if anyone of you have any questions, we can spend few minutes, otherwise we'll wind up the session. Good, okay. Then we'll wind up the session and we'll have the Dhamma sermon at 4 p.m. Thank you very much for participation.